personal care, that's all we could offer. In the beginning, 40 years ago, when we came across lots and lots of kids on the streets in St Kilda and the CBD and around Port Melbourne, South Melbourne, separated from their family, either by their choice or by the family's neglect. And all we did was provide some kind of what do you call it? What you're doing?
Respite.
Yeah, I suppose that's all we claim to be doing.
Yeah.
Respite. And then I think we went to a meeting the other day at your place.
Yes.
The launch of what?
The advocacy for respite care.
Yes. Yep. So that's we thought, instead of mucking around with global issues all the time, well then we should in fact pay attention to the local scene. And then lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, ta-da!
There he is.
In the whatever it is paper, the Moreland Leader.
Yep.
There you are, riding your whatever that is.
Deadly Treadly.
Is it? And it says here, single student revels in his role as a foster carer. So there I was 40 years ago, and here you are. And we couldn't have done then what you're doing now anyway, because I don't think it would have been.
Wouldn't have been allowed.
It would have been frowned. It wouldn't even have been allowed.
No, when you had working fathers whose, if the mother wasn't there, they were encouraged to put their children into care.
Yes.
Weren't even encouraged to look after their own children. No. So it wouldn't have happened.
No. So a lot of our kids, in fact, were in care.
Yes. And
had gotten out. In fact, there was one in this very building this morning, now aged about 53, who came to us in about 1978. In fact, he didn't come first, the phone rang first. Hello, this is Human Services or something, whatever it was. We have a man here, who has been in our care from being a baby to being 18.
Yeah.
And now we can't handle him anymore because he's 18. And we thought that you might, as the local church, be able to find a common... What the hell, I've never heard of this before. And we ended up saying, first say yes, and then try and work it out later, as long as the kid was out of care.
Yeah, that's
it. See? Now, that's a long story, whether we should have done it then or not. At least, I suppose he's here today, and he would be saying that we did a good thing. Otherwise God knows what he would have.
Exactly.
See, since he'd been there since a baby, since his parents were evicted from the high-rise flats. 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So he left the flats. Sorry, in a what do you call it? A stroller, and he was in care ever since. And that's a long story, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So come on, tell us yours. Tell us yours. Where'd you catch the fire?
Mine. Well, I guess for me, it started with my family. I've got a sister with a disability, a very rare disability. And from a very young age, obviously our whole family had to care for her. And then my parents have always been volunteers on disability organisations. Dad's a chairman of disability organisations in Wagga, where I grew up. And Mum volunteers at men's refuges, cooking lunches and stuff for them a couple of days a week. So I guess it all started there, really. And then, so I worked in a bank when I was 18 and then went, don't want to do this anymore. So I studied childcare and then from that got into youth work. So I did youth work for 14 odd years, about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I work with the boys that I'm fostering now I've known them for 5 years, worked with them for about 3, and then the opportunity came up to foster them and I always wanted to do it. So I put my hand up and luckily I'm the person that got them.
But they're grateful.
Oh yeah, very grateful. Yeah.
So you their brother or their father?
Bit of both.
Or their uncle or something?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, they say dad to some people.
Yeah.
They say foster carer to others, and then to others we just don't even talk about it. It depends on how they feel. It's all up to them.
Yes. And it hasn't been. Here we go. This is the kind of the shock jockery that we're used to now. It hasn't always been easy.
Oh no, absolutely.
There we go. We're now interested in the good things, Isn't it? It's sad, isn't it?
I know.
It hasn't always been easy. You say,
yes,
it has always been easy, actually. Well, that'd be the end of the show, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Because nobody would want to hear it. But tell us some things. Because with my producer, Mem, who's sitting staring into the camera, is in fact pushing the line that in fact we need what you're doing to become, the word he's using is viral.
Yep. Yep.
Good word.
would be
Viral,
fantastic.
is that all
Good
right?
word,
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
You see? So that the whole goddamn world
Mm.
takes care of persons who are, for one reason or another, in distress.
Yeah, need a family.
Need a
Need
family.
a family for whatever reason. I mean, we need people like Scott and his mates to all get infected, as you
Exactly.
say, with the virus, with the viral, of wanting to make a difference for some other kids who haven't had the family experience that
No.
Scott's obviously had.
Because as you say, it's not for everybody.
No, it's not. Like, you know, there's different forms as well. You can have, I'm a permanent carer with these boys until they're 18. One of my good friends who's also worked with the boys come and does respite for me when I'm at university or if I need to go out or go on holiday. So there's respite you can do as well. So you don't necessarily take the kid into your house. You go to the person's house and look after them for a weekend or whatever it may be. There's obviously
that's a
little
great idea,
babies
isn't it,
as well that need fostering, where I've taken teenagers. The hardest part, like throughout my years in residential care and youth work, I think I met maybe 7 foster carers in 14 years. Since I've been a foster carer, I think I've met 20 people that are foster carers now outside of the organisation, you know, and having meetings. But I think I've run into 50 odd people that have said they'd love to do it once they found out I've done it, but they just don't know where to go. That's the hardest part, is navigating the system on where to go.
Yeah. So you don't just look after them, you're looking after them so that they will in fact be enabled to look after others.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
That's
You
right.
find most of the kids who come through this system, the first job they say they want to do is become a carer.
But as you appreciate, we've got to keep the message in people's minds so they know, you know, that's an opportunity for them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what shape you are, who you are,
Yeah.
whether you're in a relationship, whether you're not in a relationship, you can be a carer. I think the nature of the family's changed, so we're catching up and we're starting to, you know, target different forms of family and thinking about we need to have the whole range of families there for our kids because they need to be matched in the same way that we all sort of get matched up.
My bogan theology is in fact that, you know, God's had bad press and poor God needs a family. Therefore, we could if it let him or her or them in to have a home. Now that'd be a stunning slogan, wouldn't it, for Berry Street? You know, we're even prepared to offer God a home. Come on. No, don't go there. Now listen, I think we've had enough of this, haven't we? Or do you want to do more?
I think all I want to say is the Berry Street website. So that's
Yes,
Berry
yes.
as in strawberry,
Yes.
and street as in street. Put them together, you get berrystreet.org. So that's org.au, and that's where you go and find out everything you ever wanted to know about being a foster carer.
Yeah.
You can go onto the website and find out how you become someone like Scott.
Yeah, and
Change
Scott
become
is
the kids'
saying,
world.
in fact, here, caring for young people who would otherwise not receive quality care. It's not just those young people who are better off, but it's society and the community as a whole is better off.
Absolutely.
I caught myself saying this last night at some show. It's funny how you get caught short. I know what Alan Jones, he ended up getting caught short of saying stupid things. You know, so I think I found myself last night saying something about, don't forget if you're involved with community and looking after other people's children, that in fact it doesn't just help them, but you lower the level of violence in your neighbourhood because there are less people who are in distress, especially young men. And I thought to myself afterwards, I said, geez, hang on, that's bloody tall. But I think it's true.
I think it's true. Absolutely.
I think it's true. Take that toxic ingredient out of people's hearts so that they're able to run on their merits, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we become, one of my favourite phrases is people whisperers.
Yep.
You know, because a wounded creature, you know, in need of what? Well, the word is respite.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah, respite from the world.
To let it flourish
That's right.
and run on its own merits.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we're here for today, and we're very grateful to Berry Street and to you, Scott Benson, for your contribution to world peace.